So anyway, we're having our final guest, and we have a book to give away. Her book, which is called "The Wondrous Life and Loves of Nella Carter." So we're going to be. This is an actual book. We're going to be giving it away as
Nella
well.
Carter. I mean, I
Huh?
know it's a Nella Carter. I know who Nell Carter was.
Yeah, but this is Nella Carter, which has this is the setting is historical, so it's not based on Nell Carter. So anyway, is she still living or did she
No,
pass away?
She
She passed
passed.
away. Okay,
yes.
so now she not you answered it. Okay. Um see, do you pronounce your name Brionni? Is that how it's pronounced?
It's Brionni.
Briony. Okay.
Yeah,
But we
but
can
just
call you
Bree for
Bree.
everybody else.
Okay,
Yes,
because I
ma'am.
see it on Bree.
Please do.
So in Woso. Now what's the origin of Woso? Is it Nigerian?
It's Wusu, and I think my father-in-law would pronounce it Musu. It's Nigerian. So my
Hmm.
husband's father, he's from Nigeria, and my mother-in-law is from Sierra Leone. So I have to get into it by
Oh.
them. So I'm
Oh,
a McGriff by birth. So my family comes from, rural Georgia, rural South Carolina, that type of thing. I have American roots.
oh, okay. You have all kinds of things in your background, all kinds of genes rolling around in there.
Hmm.
So, anyway, this is a book, it's historical fiction. And before we get started, I am going to do the trivia for the book, and then whoever gets the question correct or gives the answer, then they win the book. So, here's the trivia. The main character, Nella, was born enslaved in the 18th century in what southern slave state? So whoever answers it first on the chat gets this gets a copy of the book. So is this your first book? Is this your debut novel?
This
No.
is my debut novel, and I always
Okay.
like to tell everybody or who's listening, this is not the first book you've ever finished. I always feel like that's the biggest misnomer when you're talking to writers. I would say that this is probably my fourth finished novel, but it's the first one that made it over the
Uh,
publishing desk and made it onto bookshelves. So there's been about, I think it's almost 8 years now of practicing writing, learning writing. I have a dedicated writing group that I attend every Saturday, and we all encourage each other. So it's definitely been a journey since 2018 of really trying to be like, I'm going to write this book or write a book and leave something behind. So it's been a very much an endeavor over the past couple of years to make this come into fruition.
well, congratulations on getting it done.
Oh,
And
thank you so much.
congratulations on keeping the tenacity
Yeah.
because
Yes.
um it's just listening to your description, it was quite a journey.
Mhm. Oh, very much so. And then I listened to all your guests today. So I had the pleasure of going on last. So, I got to see everybody's journey and learn a little bit. Okay, we've had teachers, we've had flight attendants, we've had all different types of careers to get to it. So I feel like that's always one of the takeaways. Like anybody can come to writing if you feel like you have a story on your heart and you're willing to like do the work to get the words on the page and then put them back on the page and cut them off the page and work with the editor eventually you'll be able to end up with that type of experience. So it's many different ways we get to this writing career.
And your debut is a hardcover, which isn't all that common. So
It's not. And that was the thing. It's been like such a like roller coaster. Like I've been definitely so blessed by all the like accolades, the different things that happen just to have it come out, not only in the US, but also at the UK at the same time. And then to just have all the different things that have been around it. And so you try to figure out like, well, was it something I did? And it's like, no, there's a lot of luck. There's a lot of just roll of the dice. Somebody happened to see a glimmer of it, but one of the things I really love about the book is like it features joy. And I know we were talking a lot about stories. I had a chance to watch some of your other art past interviews from other weeks and just to see how we celebrate Black authors and the multitudes that we bring to our experience. And so I think that the thing that resonates the most with people is like, especially in hard times we're living in today, to be focused on the joy and what are the good things are still like positive. And it's not just, the terrible things that have happened to us as a people or the terrible things people will do and continue to do, but it's about what can you choose to do? Who can you help? And like, what do you choose to do with the life that you have?
You know,
Now,
I I've learned, and I learned this because I have a client who he's, much older. He's about 90 years old. But when he talks about the civil rights movement, he said he didn't want to be part of it. He also said that they were good where they were. They were because they had community, they had everything they needed in their neighborhood. They were not worried about what the folks on the other side of town had. And that's something that we don't always hear in history when we look back on history.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought it was really interesting for him to tell me that because it's like you said, we don't always have to magnify and amplify the negatives that happen to us. There were some people who were very happy and they were in their communities, they were together, and that's what they love. It wasn't always about this is what's happening to me, this is the life I'm living, and they were celebrating the life that they were living. So I like the fact that you said that it's not always, I don't want to say victimization because that word can be weaponized,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not always what happened to us. It's not always the negative. Also
Yeah.
celebrate the positive of life as well.
100%. It's about agency. That's like my favorite word. We were just talking about that in one of my book groups. Like I love characters who have agency and the people where life is just happening and they don't know what's happening. I'm like, girl, can you buy a clue? Can you figure out how to get to the next thing? And so you have to think I would not be here today without all the people who have been successful, lived their lives, got married, went to college, did all these other things. And so to that man's point, like my father's family hails from like Manning, South Carolina. And, I always say like, my great great grandparents were sharecroppers and there was a farm and he picked tobacco and all this other type of stuff. But they made sure that their children went to college. And I have cousins that are doctors. I had a cousin who was the ambassador to Benin. And so when there's always a single story about us as like a people, it always feels like, well, what we didn't have or what we can't do or compared to other people. But it's like I've had a fantastic life and I wouldn't pick to be anything else. I'll be black in every lifetime, as they say. And so I've just always like taken a lot of inspiration from my personal family history, the sacrifices they made, and then I've had a very good life. So sometimes when we are also attached to struggle or the automatic assumption that, oh, these people don't have money or don't have, like, who are you talking about? That's not anybody I know.
I have to point out that this same man who told me this story went on to not only get a medical degree, but
Mhm.
also a law degree.
Yeah.
So, and this was not somebody who was just happy living in nothingness, so to
Yeah.
speak. He was still leading his life. He was still pursuing excellence, pursuing education, married a woman who was also pursuing education. So I'm just saying not everybody was in that fight. Some people were happy and still pursuing.
Yeah, and I think there's power in that narrative of having you believe it. Like as I would always tell my mom, they have these elephants that are over in Thailand, and you tie them up from when they're a little baby, and you keep them with this little rope, and then they learn they can't get away. So now you've got this huge elephant that can crush everybody. That in its mind, it's trapped. It doesn't believe it can because back in the past, it couldn't
Yeah.
be able to do that. So I'm just about, why are we getting these stories? Why are we being told these narratives? Why can't we learn the different narratives about people who were successful and, escaped their chains and who built their businesses and built their towns and, just feel that sense of pride about yourself and where you come from. So I hope that this book, as it crosses all the different centuries, really talks about still finding that joy, still working, still in pursuit of things, despite what external forces would say is possible or what can be attainable.
okay, now the social book club won the book.
Yay!
So the answer is Georgia. That's where the setting is for Nella Carter. So tell us about the storyline in the book.
Oh, of course. And so, The Wondrous Life and Loves of Nella Carter, we find her on the edge of death. She has contracted a disease and she is about to pass away in 1784 outside of Savannah, Georgia. And she happens to come across death. He's come to collect her and take her to the other side. But he's been kind of pondering, he's a little bit tired of his job of trying to collect humans because we've been making it a lot of work for him between all the different wars, the way we can be terrible. So he's come across a plan he thinks that will make his job easier and really have a way to deal with the humans. And so when he meets Nella, he shares his plan, and she's like, "No, you can't take everybody. There's still some good people in this world, and I'll prove it to you." And so that's really what the book is about, is her kind of journey over centuries through different continents, through different cities, trying to find the good that is in humans and try to prove to him like we're worth saving. And so there's a couple of times where Nella's not quite sure. She was like, maybe he has a point. And I think sometimes, as I've heard from different readers, they felt the same way as like this world is kind of crazy and humans, we could be a lot. So it's really just kind of a mediation of like what is like her evidence that we are good and worth saving. But then we also hear from Death because for every point he has a counterpoint. He's like, that sounds good, but I just collected all these people who were not great, towards other people. And so it's kind of just them going back and forth over centuries, trying to figure out, who's going to be right and win the ultimate bargain.
So it's a fantasy.
Yes,
It's
ma'am.
in the fantasy category,
Hmm.
and
Yes.
Death is the actual character.
Yes, so we see him several times throughout the book, and I feel like that's what's been really interesting for people. It's not just a straight through narrative, like you don't just see her perspective and go through. There's definitely parts and chapters where you see it from Death's perspective and how he's feeling as time is going on. We also have a love story that's throughout the book as she is sharing the story with someone and, really deciding, is life still worth living to continue on pursuing, maybe just one more time.
Hmm. So you said this is the fourth or fifth book that you worked on.
Yes,
Is
ma'am.
this like an amalgam of those, or is this the result of any of them, or did you just start over with this one?
No, this is not any of those. I think just like Yasmin, I was a teacher by training. And so when I first started writing my first couple of books, those were all middle grade because I was like, well, I'm teaching these books. There's the Scholastic Book Fair. Surely I should be able to create something that my students could read. And I was a fifth grade teacher. And so I taught elementary school and I worked in education for like over the last decade. And I still work with high school students now. And so those were all like middle grade mysteries or middle grade fantasy. So there's still some of those elements of where you get to like practice putting those things together. But I would say Nella came, it's like she's a combo. I would just say she's like the best like project I've ever worked on. And so right when this project came into being, I had just finished the book, The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, and then also the Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. So those were some of the inspiration for some of the book. And then I would also love to share, especially if people are interested in like being a writer and finding support. I had a lot of support from the We Need Diverse. I was selected as one of the mentees, and they helped me with one of my middle grade books. And so there's been lots of connections from We Need Diverse books. So if you're middle grade writer, picture book writer, any of those things, they have a yearly competition where you can submit and you get to work with the author all year, like a professional, working author, and they give you feedback on your book. And so I say that that was one of the things that truly launched me. And the other thing is just like what other partnerships you have. So I've been working with like Electric Postcard Entertainment, and so they have a great team, great editors who just are so great and giving you like, oh, that's how you're supposed to do this thing. So I've always said this whole process has been like my MFA. Like I thought I knew what I was doing, but once you get like a right team around you, it really makes a difference for you and your success. So I've been so blessed between them, between the team at Amazon, and then just the caliber of people I'm working with. So if there's a tip I would give to anybody, is just try to work with the people who are operating at the level you want to be at. So if you want to be on the New York Times bestseller list, you need to go make you some friends with people who have been on it, who can maybe give you some feedback or, work with editors who have been there before so they can give you some of those things. So that's just something that I've always tried to like work amongst the best and hopefully become one of those peers.
Now you mentioned Amazon. This isn't an Amazon.
Yes, ma'am. It's an
Oh, it's
Amazon
The
from
Brie.
yes,
oh,
ma'am.
from their publishing because they have an actual publishing where they
House.
publish books, not just the self-publishing arm.
A
This
hundred
is just the
percent.
published. Okay, all
So if
right.
people are interested, I would, you have to have be represented by an agent to go through the Amazon route. But one
Okay.
of the facts, and my data might be a little outdated, but something I read said like 80% of all books bought are bought on Amazon. So like out of all the books, people are going to Amazon first, either downloading it or they're purchasing it. And so it's one of the things that's like it's been really interesting to see like how much attention they can give your book and put like post it and put it different places. And so it's been really great working with their publishing in-house to see like the opportunities you've been given. So I've really enjoyed that and hope to continue that partnership. But I also I think somebody else spoke to self-publishing if I or maybe I'm thinking of another like interview I watched. But like self-publishing or publishing with another house is about having a wide career is one of the things important and like trying to be a like a working author.
Yeah, a lot of people are going the even the people who end up with a major publisher, they still do some self-publishing.
Mhm,
So they consider themselves hybrid
mhm,
authors. And that's an option that is available, which was not available years ago.
mm,
It used to be years ago, if you were with a major publisher, you were not allowed to do any self-publishing. But now they had to become more flexible as times have changed. But when they first started, because we interviewed the first, I think she was the first person who had a book deal with the Amazon publisher.
I remember that interview.
Yeah, I can't, her is the Token Black Girl. There's the name of the book. I can't remember her name.
the
But
other
anyway,
token black girl, am I thinking?
no, no, that's the
Okay.
other black girl. There's two.
There's lots of black
Okay.
girls.
Other black girl, not the other token black girl.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So
But
token
it's the
black girl, a
Token Black
memoir.
Girl.
Yeah,
Token
yeah.
Black Girl, the memoir. She was on the show, and I believe she was either the first or among the first, and hers was a paperback. So they're doing hardcovers now. I
Mhm,
think that was a couple of years ago when we had her on. And I know they're offering hardcovers. I published through KDP,
mhm.
um, and I have 15 books, but I haven't done any in hardcover yet. I
No,
could
the
say,
hardcover too is so interesting. Like, I don't know if you have that copy is the one you're giving away, but the secret thing is like when you pull the hardcover off, it's a floral book on the other side of it.
okay,
So
now
they didn't even tell.
I have this.
Yeah,
Let's see, let's see.
it should
I
be on
believe
all of
it's
them.
the real book.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's the real
mhm,
thing. She's got a
yeah.
genuine edition.
Okay, that's nice. Did they have
Yeah.
something nice? Because it used to just be black, you know.
It's just a different cover, but it's just really interesting what they can do now and how you can get the
Hmm.
things out and just the publishing. And like I said, you think publishing is just, oh, you just write the book and you turn it in. And it's like, no, no, no. There's lots of editing and there's feedback. And then do you like this cover? Do you like this audiobook narrator and all this other stuff? So this has been just like a wild experience as a debut author. And now you got to follow it up with the next one. So I'm supposed to be writing something. We'll see what gets on the page today. But you're always trying to follow it up with something.
Yeah. So is this available in all the formats? Is it
Yes,
available
ma'am.
paperback,
Is available
hardcover,
hardcover, paperback.
audio,
And if
and
you
ebook?
Yeah, and that's the nice thing about Amazon too is that it's on the Kindle Unlimited. And so because it was Amazon, I think that that's why it got so many reviews. It was chosen for their Amazon First Reads program in November. And so that is where lots of people got access to the copy for free for early. So you
Okay.
can start letting people be having access to it. And then, several months after that, it becomes Kindle Unlimited. So if people are members of KU, you can download it and then read it, add it to your thing, and then keep adding all these different author. I believe Yasmin, she was a author of the program in January, and so it was nice to see me, and then we have another author, and so it's really nice to see us being represented, the diversity of those picks and being put on that national stage.
That's really good. Oh, the social book club, they came through with the name of the author of
Hmm.
that other book, and it was Danielle Prescott. So she had an interesting story to tell. And don't forget to DM us your address so we can send you all the book.
Yeah, the social
So,
press
so
book club, they're coming through today. They got the questions, they
yeah,
got the
they got
author
and
names.
the answers.
They're popping today.
Also, book club is always very active in the chat
Yay.
They
every
are.
week.
Hmm.
I think she has this on her calendar.
Mm.
And she probably has set an alarm to make sure that she's on time for the show.
Well, of
Yeah, because
course you should. I'm gonna have to do the same. You have so many different authors, and just providing a platform for all the authors who are either new like me or people, several 4 or 5 books in, and you're still working a career. It's just so wonderful to have this spotlight and to be engaging in this way. I really appreciate the work y'all are doing.
Well, we
well,
appreciate the work you're doing, and we appreciate you sharing with us and being so open as
Mhm.
well.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's probably too much. I'm a little bit too candid. If you were to ask my husband, I talk a little bit too much, but that might be an off-camera conversation.
yeah. Well, we crossed the 800 guest mark
Yay!
last fall. Not interviews, guests.
Mm.
So I don't know where we are now. Maybe 840. But next week we'll celebrate our 250th show.
Wonderful. That's
So
good. And
yeah,
then
so
250 years
Rhonda,
of
we've had
America and 200 episodes. This is
250
wonderful.
shows. We've had
Yeah.
250 shows as of next week.
There's going to be
So
a cake, yes? Like cake
no,
celebration.
we do. We have an award show that we
Mm,
do in May where it's like the Grammys and we do it online, but we give awards and people vote on their favorite interviews in different categories and
mm.
we make a big deal out of it. So we do that in May. In June, we have our birthday show because my birthday and Rhonda's birthday are 9 days apart. So whatever show falls in between we do a birthday show. We have our little crowns on,
Oh,
and
that's wonderful.
so
Junes are the best birth. My husband's, he's born on the 4th, so I am partial to June birthdays, so.
So June
oh
4th.
okay,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah. I'm the 20th, and Rhonda's the 29th. So I'm a Gemini, and she's a Cancer. So, and I told Rhonda I normally clash with female Cancers, but I get along really well with Rhonda for some reason. So, oh
250 episodes in, it must be
yeah,
something's working.
250 episodes, and we've never had an argument. So, and if we did, I wouldn't tell anybody anyway, but we never have. So, anyway, oh, you mentioned something about a writing group or group of authors that
Yep.
you attend every week. Is that virtual or is it in person?
No, it's virtual. We've actually never met each other. We came together in the pandemic. So I think we've been writing together since 2021 is when the group was formed. And so it was actually middle grade authors. So everybody in the group originally wanted to write a middle grade. So our group is called OMGs because we're middle grades. And so we were random strangers who were put in a random group who's, we all wanted to write a book. And then it's really boiled down to about the 6 of us. And we kind of come in and come out. But we meet every Saturday from like 8 to 10 o'clock, and you give the ups and downs. We're reading a craft book. We're reading Unleashing the Creative Artist Within, and that's been really helpful because it's just like lesson after lesson, handing you a true. Writing a book is going to be hard. Choose your hard. Choose your mate that you're marrying to make sure you're not, So it's giving you a lot like how should you be as a parent? What type of jobs do
You
you need
know,
to
that's
have?
right. People do not realize how important that advice is. If you marry somebody or if you connect with somebody who does not support the fact that
Hmm.
you're going to be up all night writing your book, you're not going to be able to go out and party, or you're sometimes you're going to be in a family function with your computer on your lap. There's always going to be something that's going to take you away and not have you be fully present. And you have to have somebody in your
Hmm.
life who understands that.
Yep, yep. And it was giving you advice like make sure you're not both creatives. Like if we're both writers and we're trying to write, what happens if I'm successful and you're not? How does that change the dynamic? If we're trying to get a job, if I've got a really, really tense job, which I've had it sometimes, it really impacts the writing. Like my brain is burnt at the end of the day. I have nothing creative left to give. And then if you think you're going to be a millionaire writing your first book, that is not the case. So you do need to figure out how are you going to pay those bills and not put all that stress on your art. So we have been supporting each other. And so this is just our latest read, but we've read books about setting and craft and giving each other feedback and done different prompts. And so I've actually never met the members of my group, but they've been so instrumental and they probably are really helpful to my marriage too, because my husband supports me, but he doesn't want to read these drafts. He doesn't want to like do a deep dive into character. He's like, great, good job, and he does the things to support me. Like he's up there with my children right now, or if I want to go do or doing this, supportive in that way. So you got to make sure that you have a community of people who are, I think, also positive, who believe it can happen. Because there's a lot of people who do that negative thing too. Well, they just don't support Black authors, or nobody's willing to give us a chance, or, we got to work twice as hard. And those things may be true, but in our particular group, it's like, no, if there's a check to get, one of us should get it. What do we need to do to put the right words on the paper, or how are we setting ourselves up?
Not these negative Nancy's that's always thinking everybody's against them.
No, no, not. I think I suffer. There's a word I came across recently. It's called pronoia, which is the opposite of paranoia. So pronoia is just like you're too optimistic. You just think good things happen to you. And so that's kind of like my kind of default setting is like I'm always looking for like, oh, what's the chance card today? What's the thing I'm going to find? Oh, I found that. Great. I won the day. So I try to keep the bar pretty low in terms of what makes me happy. And so like having this book come out has been beyond my wildest dream, but it's also reaffirmed like, okay, now I'm a published author. I've still got three kids who are pretty young. I really need to make sure I'm focusing on them and I can write another book, but it didn't change me the way I thought. I thought it would be like I've arrived. I'm somebody now. You can put a little bass in your chest or that you can show up some way. But at the end of the day, lots of people are doing lots of impressive things in this human life. We're only here for a little bit. And so now that I've gotten what I've always wanted, it's like, okay, I can do this again and make sure that, the most important thing really is my family and my kids. So I think going through this book really helped me understand that connection is the most important thing. You are the words you leave behind. You are the people who you know. That's what makes up a life. And I think that's why like death and grieving feels so impactful because when a person you love dies, they take a version of you with them, or the version of you that was maybe light or happy or all these, they take it with you, or that version of you only exists with them in it. And so it just really tells you to mediate of like, we only have so much time. So, you know, let's have some fun today. What can we do today? How can we make the best of it? And not just, we will all meet death at some point in this book. And hopefully, we'll be able to show that our lives were worth living.
Okay, well,
Great.
show the cover one more
Yeah,
time.
yeah. So
We're
this
at
is
the
the
end of our.
American cover with all the, pretty flowers on it. And then the UK version, which was published by Harderscape, they have the doors to represent all the different lives that she's had. And I
Oh
think this was just
wow.
on sale in in Waterstones. So it's been so nice to like on both sides of the pond. And I think it's going to be published in Czech. So I will be able to read it, but she's going to make her debut in a whole different language, which is wild to me.
Congratulations.
Wow.
Well,
Thank
this is
you.
a positive way to end the show. I'm glad that you were the last author. You
Yay.
have some really good thoughts and words for people to ponder on.
Oh,
Mhm.
100%. I just want people to win. And so I'm just doing the best I can with this little life. I appreciate y'all again making this platform for everybody so we can come and show off our art, what we've been toiling away and putting it up to the light. And, just really looking forward to seeing that 250 show and to see everything that'll
Okay.
come along with it.
Okay. Well, we have great lineups coming up. We always do, but it's really packed. Our schedule's packed for the next 4 weeks. So, thank you so much for being a guest on the show. Congratulations again on your project. I can't wait. I love historical fiction, so
Mhm.
I'm all in. I'm all in. I'll have to send them this book, even though I might, but I'll get my own. I considered sending them theirs.
Or they might get it a little bit late. It might be a little read through by the time
I
you
might
get to
read
it.
it first and then send it.
Exactly.
It's a producer prerogative. So anyway,
Exactly. I gotta do it's a quality check. I need to make sure before you get it. She
yeah.
checked it out for you, Social Club. Of
So thank you so much. Have a great
course.
night.
All right, you as well. Bye.
Okay. Good night.